I love when a game gets you in the zone. It feels like you're harmonizing with it. The game is displaying something on screen, and before you can even consciously recognize what's going on, you react accordingly. It's like there's some deep part of your brain that's directly connected to the game itself. You don't even think about the buttons or keys you're pressing to achieve your goal. You just do them automatically. Getting in the zone is truly magical. On a completely unrelated note, Echo Point Nova came out recently and I decided to check it out. I saw it was an open world shooter with some schmovement. Those are all words that are up my alley. I had to give it a shot. To give a quick rundown of it, like I said, it's an open world shooter. You're high up in the sky and there's a bunch of tiny little islands for you to move between. On some of them, you'll find a little enemy base to attack. There's only like 20 bad guys in each, and you can kill them within 60 seconds. Super bite-sized challenges, you know? I'll break this game down into 3 aspects that make it great, though the final one is what makes it truly amazing. First, the weapons. There's a handful of weapon types, and within them are slight variations. So you'll have the pistol weapon slot, and for that slot you can choose between a few different types of pistols. Full auto, semi-auto, 3-round burst, revolver, yada yada. With shotguns you have a pump action and a full auto. There's a few different types of assault rifles that excel at certain ranges, you get the idea. Thankfully, they all feel fun to use. You'll no doubt be able to find a weapon within each archetype to fit your preferred playstyle, so you can have a loadout that you're super comfortable with. And you'll need to be comfortable with all the weapons because they have super small ammo pools. It's kinda like Doom Eternal in that way, you're forced to swap weapons a lot. And there isn't really a chainsaw equivalent to get ammo back quickly, though you can find ammo pickups on the ground, as well as equip some perks that help you out on that front. I know a lot of people were kinda miffed about that design choice in Doom Eternal, but I liked it in that game and I like it here. It forces you to be constantly changing up your strategy as you're playing. You can't just stick to one weapon. It keeps the brain active, swapping between SMGs, shotguns, assault rifles, snipers, rocket launchers, all that. You dip in and out, moving between close and long ranges so much, it pays to be efficient with all the weapons. The world is super unique. I have to say, it was definitely an inspired choice to go with islands in the sky rather than being on the ground. I feel like the game world can be bigger if you have floating play spaces with a bottomless pit underneath, rather than having to have solid ground below you at all times. And the way it's designed funnels you through certain paths at first, but eventually it kinda opens up and you have a big chunk of the map to explore in whichever way you want. You have so many tools to cross such large gaps. It's easy to skip over the obvious, quote, intended paths and go to ones that look more interesting in the distance. That's all I can say about the world without talking about the movement. The real star of this game. This is what makes it so special to me. So you can walk around. No traditional sprint or anything, just walking with WASD. If you press shift though, you get on your hoverboard and start sliding. You glide across the ground, almost frictionless. You can pick up some insane speed this way and jump some crazy gaps. The hoverboard can also wall ride, and not just sideways, but straight up too. So combine that with some double jumps and you can get almost anywhere. You'll be moving so fast that you can barely even process what's going on. Oh, did I forget to mention there's a grappling hook? Yeah, you can pull yourself to anything nearby. This obviously lets you make jumps that are normally a little bit out of reach, but it's not just about that. You can also slingshot yourself around on your hoverboard. You can grapple to an enemy, shoot right as you reach them, and continue flying in that direction. Grappling hooks really do just make any game better. With these tools, the double jump, the hoverboard, and the grappling hook, the game becomes a canvas. A canvas for you to express yourself on through traversal. You have all these different weapons built for different engagement distances. Maybe you start out at medium range, so you use an assault rifle for a bit. Then you get low on ammo, so grapple in and go to town with a shotgun. Then as you lose some health, you grapple and hoverboard out to far away and dome some dudes with a sniper. And that'll all happen in a brief moment. Battles evolve so quickly in this game, you need to be able to adapt and have an escape plan ready. Get that grapple and zoom on out. It reminds me of my Titanfall 2 days. Speeding by enemies and shooting them, even hip-firing at enemies from ranges that you normally don't hip-fire at in other games. Not many games let you get away with that. I guess there is Counter-Strike, but I'm specifically thinking about in the context of a game where you're moving this fast. You don't want to be aiming down sight and narrowing your field of view. You want to be planning your route forward as you're shooting your target. Having the wider field of view from hip-firing encourages that. It's just so damn fun to move and shoot in this game. And even when you aren't shooting, it's just fun to move. This world is built for movement. All these islands are so spread out, and you gotta get some serious speed going to make some of these jumps. And even when it isn't super necessary to have all that speed, it's just fun to get it anyway. Zoom between some trees at breakneck speed. It's almost like a Spider-Man game the way you're moving so fast and dodging obstacles. You're reacting to the game before you even consciously think of what you're supposed to do. Like you're entering the zone. I can't think of a game that I lock into more than this. Where it takes me a minute to get into the zone with other games like this, I can do it almost immediately in Echo Point Nova. And when I do, it's beautiful. The way I'm able to go in and out and move around the world so effortlessly, shooting at bad guys as I zoom past them at like 100 miles an hour. I just can't get enough of it. This is kind of a weird and specific reference, but I'm reminded of one type of moment Call of Duty trailers like to use. It's where the player will be using one weapon for a bit, and then quickly swap to another weapon and shoot some guy. It's a good dynamic moment for a trailer, and shows off how versatile your build can be. This game is full of moments like that. Quickly snipe a guy as you're zooming into a group of enemies and then shotgun the rest. That feels like a scripted moment for a game's trailer. But no, it's something you just do naturally. The game fosters moments like that with its tight weapon pool and low ammo counts. I've been seeing stunts like this in first-person shooter trailers forever, and I can't remember a time I ever really felt like I actually played that way in-game. This game finally scratches that itch for me. There's even a perk you can enable that swaps out your weapon after every kill, so you're really all over the place with that. Even if you don't get any positive bonuses for enabling that perk, I like to do it sometimes, just for the fun of it. Keeps me on my toes, you know? I 100%ed this game. Granted, it's not that long. It took me maybe 9 hours or so to get through everything it has to offer, and there's a ton more to this game that I didn't dive into here. The like 50 or so perks the game has, the weapon customization, all the hats, the agility pickups to collect, the powers you get up from defeating the bosses. Oh my god, the bosses? How did I forget about those? This game has Shadow of the Colossus style bosses. Once you progress enough in a certain area, a boss arena will open up, and within it, a large flying beast roams around. It's your goal to get on top of it and destroy all the little weak points it has. And it's challenging. The enemy bases aren't really a slouch either, but it's like you hopped into a bullet hell game once you reach these bosses. There are so many enemies shooting at you, you can't stop for a moment. It's almost overwhelming. I guess I kinda did forget about the bosses because there's only a handful of them, and you only need to beat them once. There's no completionist reason to go back and play them for a better time or whatever. But they are amazing spectacles the first time around. I'm only showing the first one here, you can see the later ones yourself. I can't remember a shooter I've played that was this emotionally satisfying. The way everything comes together, you just get psychically linked to the game. You react before you even consciously recognize what's going on screen. Yeah, it's kind of a short game, but I genuinely believe it's worth the $25 asking price. And believe me, I'm usually kinda frugal when it comes to games and how many hours you can get out of it. I always keep the price to hour ratio in mind when thinking about buying something. But this game genuinely broke that for me. I didn't care that I beat this game in less than 10 hours. You could no doubt spend half this game's asking price on a bunch of games out there and get triple the playtime out of that purchase. But this game filled me with such joy. It made me step out of my usual price to hours comparison when looking at a game. It's an experience, and you gotta experience it. Thanks to the developers at Greylock Studios, what they made here is truly special. And thank you for watching.